Hey guys, we're here in the Austin Peay State University weight room where I work as a strength conditioning graduate assistant. Today we're going to go over the progressions for hang clean and squat, and also we're going to take a look at the bench press. Alright, let's get started. Alright guys, we're going to start with the hang clean progression. I know developing as an athlete, being coached, certain progressions, for example, the power clean progression. A lot of people, very simple movements, they break it down as starting from the ground. Deadlift, then into the power shrug, and then the high pull, and then put it all together for the power clean. This hang clean approach, learning here at Austin Peay State University under my mentor here, the strength conditioning coordinator, Nick Hanzik, is a very detailed approach. It'll break down all the steps of the hang clean, which I learned here, and I think it's great. It's very detail oriented. All right, guys. The first movement we're going to be breaking down in the hang clean progression is the RDL to the mid thigh. All right, we're going to start with our foot placement, feet directly underneath your hips. Your grip is going to be shoulder width apart. You're going to grab the bar, deadlift it up, and this is going to be a real small movement. All right, it's going to prepare that athlete for the small lowering that takes place before that hang clean movement. So what you're going to do right here, just RDL down, keep the bar riding against your thighs to the mid thigh. It's a small movement, it's nothing major, and this is really just to prepare those athletes for the lowering of the bar that takes place during the hang clean, at the beginning of the hang clean movement. What I'm going to do is show this movement from the side, just so you guys can get a better idea of what I'm looking for here. Alright guys, so the second movement in the hang clean progression is going to be an RDL to the mid thigh. We're going to string together a few more movements. So it's going to be the RDL to the mid thigh. You're going to shoot your knees forward. You're going to get up on your toes, and then you're going to shrug. Alright, now this is going to be a slow walk through pace. You're not going to have athletes run through this, and it's going to be confusing to put all these movements together at one time. So expect that out of them. So let me just go over it one more time. So it's RDL to the mid thigh. Shoot your knees forward. Get up on your toes. Shrug. And I'll show that from the side. Alright guys, because of how complex this movement is, I'm going to break it down from the side also. So, the first start of the movement, you're going to RDL to mid thigh, shoot those knees forward, get up on your toes, shrug. Alright? We'll go over it two more times. RDL to mid thigh, shoot your knees forward, up on your toes, shrug. RDL to mid thigh, shoot your knees forward, up on your toes, shrug. Alright, so for the third movement in this hang clean progression, we're going to do an RDL to the mid thigh, followed by a power shrug. The second movement, the past one we just did, was breaking it down. We're going slow through the movement, familiarizing athletes with it. So the second one is all about putting it together, making that movement as fluid as possible. So you're going to start, you're going to RDL to the mid thigh, followed by a power shrug, alright? So we're focusing on speed here. Alright, so I'm going to show this from the side to get you guys that better view. So you're going to start off, RDL to the thigh, power shrug, alright? Focus on speed. Alright, the fourth movement in this hang clean progression is going to be an RDL to the mid thigh, followed by a high pull, alright? So basically on the high pull, I want to emphasize keeping those elbows out, pointing outwards, because if they start coming back, it's either going to be a reverse curl in the movement, which we don't want that. Possibly injuries can occur. So we're going to focus on keeping those elbows out, pointed outward, That's going to allow for a nice, smooth, high pull. So, RDL to mid thigh, plus high pull. Remember, elbows out. RDL to mid thigh, high pull. Alright guys, so here we're going to start RDL to mid thigh and then high pull. Okay. So here comes RDL, right into the high pull. Alright guys, so the second to last movement here in this hang clean progression is going to be a drop squat. And what this movement is going to do is it's going to teach that athlete to get underneath that bar, catch it at its lowest point. You know, obviously as you're cleaning, you get the bar up here, you can only bring the bar up to a certain point before you're going to have to drop under it to catch it. Especially when athletes are starting those, you know, the heavier weights, those 75, 80, 85% range. They're going to have to drop. That's all there is to it. You know, you only have so much power just bringing it up to a stand before you're going to have to get underneath it. So we're going to start off. You're going to pretend just like you have a bar. You know, your feet just underneath your hips. You're going to bring it up, drop underneath it. Right? You're basically catching it like a front squat here. So emphasize that point. Shoot those elbows up. Pretend like you have the bar and front squat it up. And you want to emphasize foot contact here. You know, the athletes shouldn't be afraid of making contact with the ground. We want to hear some noise during this movement. So I'll do this one more time, and then I'll show it from the side. So you hear, bring that bar up. Reset. Remember, reset. Have the athletes reset after each repetition. All right, guys. I know this is simple enough, but I'm going to show the drop squats from the side just to get a better another viewpoint from it. So you hear. Bring that bar up, drop underneath it. Remember, reset after each rep. Bring it up, reset. All right, so the last thing left with this progression of the hang clean movement is going to be putting everything together and simply doing the hang clean. So, start, down, shoot those elbows up and in. All right. Coach that. Make sure you're coaching that up. When you catch the bar, by putting those elbows up, you're going to make sure you create a shelf across, you know, the collarbone area, top of the shoulders. And what also you want to make sure you tell athletes is, you don't want the bar to be gripped full like this. You don't want this. You want to relax, open hand, relaxed fingers. It's going to stretch, it's going to pull a little bit. It might feel uncomfortable at the start, but in the long run, it's going to be a way better option, and it's just going to equal more total weight lifted by an athlete. And I'm going to show you this movement also from the side. All right, guys, so we're going to go over the hang clean movement just from a side view. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to do just a normal rep, you know, not dropping underneath the weight. And then I'm going to show you what it looks like dropping underneath the weight. The first rep is going to be normal. The second one is going to be dropping underneath the weight. Alright guys, so I hope you guys took something out of that that 6 movement progression I just showed you. You know, it's a little bit more detail oriented, and I do admit it can be a little confusing for an incoming freshman athlete who doesn't have any experience at all hang cleaning. But I do feel like in the long run, this progression will benefit them. And you know, I've seen incoming freshmen here, football players make great strides with this, and you know, it's something that I think will definitely be implemented in my future as a strength conditioning coach. All right, so the next thing we're going to take a look at is going to be the bench press.